Talha Kose joins me now in the studio. He's an associate professor of political science at Ibn Haldun University here in Istanbul. Thanks so much for coming in. I want to pick up on Greece there. What do you think is really behind Greece giving these suspects, a safe haven of sorts? Is it because the judiciary there isn't convinced by Turkey's case against them?
I think it's not about judicial decision. It's more of a political issue because they never took the case seriously and engage with the file more in legal terms. And there are also cooperation terms between Greece and Turkey. But I think it's a political issue to put more pressure on Turkey in these issues. We know that those especially the soldiers have specific information about Turkey. They have lots of intelligence, and they, Greek authorities want to use those information and use those people against Turkey in case of, tension. And also, it's also a sign that Greece is a safe haven in the future. If something happens like this, this may be an opportunity for, people who are against the government in Turkey to go to Greece. And we know that Greece is also supporting some other left-wing terrorist organizations in its borders. So I think it's a consistent policy, but the FETO case is much more complicated because their situation is different. I mean, they have been involved in official positions in Turkey, and they have been involved, against the government as well as the president. And they have serious cases, and Turkish court have given real terms to people who engage in this coup. So there is no gap in that regard.
I mean, it is complicated, to say the least, and it's not just in the case of Greece. There are a number of other countries where FETO is active, not least the United States, where the organization owns a number of charter schools, for example. What is it that those other governments don't see about a potentially destabilizing factor in this network being active on their own territory?
I think there are some cases it is difficult to understand for the public. So we know that state authorities may probably know the depths of the file because Turkey is constantly informing the authorities, but taking into account the schools, religious network, officials, former military officials, and civil society organizations, taken together, file complicated as such, and also they have strategic patience to involve in Turkish domestic affairs for 40 years. So it is quite difficult to explain the whole thing to the publics of the Europe in the West. So it is really, some officials probably know the details of this thing, but it would be, especially in the local courts, in some local contexts, the officials, authorities do not want to buy this story. And also, there is also counter story, counter narratives in the media who are against the government, and they are using this, Turkish government, and the president is using this case to press the opposition. So there is another alternative storyline, and some people buy this storyline, especially the critiques of the Turkish government and president buy this story. Some others are not convinced because it's such a complicated issue which goes to 40, 50 years. And some others really want to benefit from this contradiction that destabilizes Turkey. So I think there is no particular position, but also Turkey needs to explain this better to civil society and other civilian actors.
Not easy. Okay, Talha Kose, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for coming in.